Boy's trembling voice in a dark room. My sister died in a car accident 6 years ago. We buried her ourselves. I put the first soil on her grave. But now, every night I get messages from her number, and she writes things that only she knows. Is she really back? Or is she playing some other game? Or was she never dead at all? My name is Adam Thomas, and I live in a small town in Shrewsbury, America. My life was normal until my world was shattered in an instant. 6 years ago, my little sister Lena died in a horrific car accident. She was only 16. Lively, bubbly, and my best friend. She knew everything about me, the keeper of my every secret. We buried her. I put the first soil on her grave myself. 6 years later, everything changed. Time heals a little, but that pain never goes away. Then 2 weeks ago, at 2:17 a.m., my phone rang. The notification came. I saw your red hoodie. Why did you cry last night? My hands started shaking. It was Lena's old number, which had been blocked after her death. And what made this message so scary was this. I was really crying last night in my red hoodie behind closed doors in my room where no one had seen me. I thought maybe it was someone's crying joke. I quickly replied, "Who is this?" The next moment the answer came. "Don't be scared, Adam. It's just me, your sister." The phone fell from my hand. I sat on my bed with shaky steps. My heart was beating like crazy. This was not possible. Is this a game or a hack? I tried calling that number. It didn't even ring, it just hung up immediately. Had this number been reactivated? Was someone targeting our family? I kept the phone on the side and stayed awake all night. The next morning I called T-Mobile customer support. They confirmed that this number was deactivated. No calls or messages were possible on this number. Sir, who sent that message, and how did he know I was crying while wearing a red hoodie? The next morning I was not in a sleepy state, as if my mind was constantly confused. I tried to keep everything normal, went to work, but my heart kept going to my mobile, the same number, the same message, and things that no one else could know. Back in the evening I made a decision. I would go to Lena's grave for the first time in 6 years because, to be honest, I was afraid to go to that place again. But now I had no other choice. I took my car out around 7 p.m. and reached the cemetery. The empty road, the shadows of the trees, and the silence that screamed. Everything was like in a horror movie. Lena's grave was in the back of the cemetery. I kept walking and then suddenly my steps stopped. The grave. Something looked different. The soil was a little rough, as if someone had recently dug something there or stirred it with their hands. I bent down in surprise and looked at the soil. It was not wet, but fresh. There was a small piece of paper lying right on the edge of the grave. I picked it up gently. Inside the paper was a note. I'm cold down here. Why didn't you bring me a blanket like you used to? Elle? My hands started shaking. Only Lena knew this as a child. Whenever we played in the tent, she would say, Adam, bring me a blanket. I feel cold. How could anyone else know this? I looked around and there was no one anywhere. The entire cemetery was deserted and silent. I quickly left the cemetery and returned home at 11:03 p.m. Another message came on the phone. Don't ignore me. I'm still your sister. Remember our song. At that moment, my heart stopped. Our secret song that we used to sing to ourselves as children, a short sentence. Up the hill and down the sky, brother never says goodbye. This was our secret sibling song, which we had made up ourselves. No one else in the world knew this. I strengthened my heart and sent a message. If you really want to take me, prove it to me. A few moments later, the answer came. You cried the day you broke Mom's vase. You blamed it on me, but I never told anyone. I sat up trembling. It was true. I had broken my mother's favorite vase as a child and blamed it on Lena. She had never complained to anyone. This was just between the two of us. Then the next message came. Someone opened my grave, Adam. Someone disturbed me. I can't rest. Find out who. Now, it wasn't just supernatural, it was something else. Did someone really open Lena's grave? Why does someone else have that number, or is Lena's spirit really calling me? I quickly opened my laptop and started searching Lena's death report and cemetery records. Something strange came to light the week after Lena's death. A stranger had asked for footage from the cemetery cameras. Name: Martin Burke's relationship. No relation. Why would a stranger ask for video of a 16-year-old girl's grave? I searched Martin Burke's name on Google and didn't find anything specific. Then I entered Lena's old number into a reverse number search tool, and the result was restricted, unavailable. No location, no ID, no carrier. The number seemed to be floating in space. I was tired, scared, but one thing was clear. This wasn't just a message. This was a voice, a plea from someone who was dead or perhaps not allowed to die. Who opened the grave? And who is now haunting me? The last message from Lena was now ringing in my head like a hammer. Someone has opened my grave. Adam, I can find peace, find out who it was. This was no longer just a supernatural thing, it was now a real threat. I decided I would reach out to this Martin Burks. The same stranger who had asked for CCTV footage of Lena's grave. I called Rick, an old police friend I knew who was now in private security. Rick accessed Martin Burke's records. Martin was a paranormal researcher, people who claim they can talk to spirits. His website was now deactivated, but I found some of his blogs in the archives, and one entry in those blogs shook my soul. I was contacted by a spirit of a teenage girl who died in a car crash in Shrewsbury. She keeps telling me she's not dead, that she's trapped. I believe her soul is misplaced and the body might still hold her pain. MB, this was a question that stuck with Lena. Did Martin perform a ritual on Lena's grave? Did he wake her up? Did he do something he shouldn't have done? The next night at 1:11 a.m., another message came. You're close. He woke me up. He called me from the dark. A chill ran through my body. Who woke you up? I answered. Moments later, the message came. Martin did with the ritual. Now it was clear that Martin Burks had done something that had freed my dead sister's spirit, or worse, trapped her. I had retrieved Martin's last known location. He lived in a small area about 30 miles from Shrewsbury. I got out of the car and immediately drove to him. On the way, another message came to my phone. Don't trust him. He wants me for himself. Lena's spirit was warning me. Martin Burks's home was an old, lonely cabin on the edge of the woods. I knocked on the door. An old, frail man came to the door. Dark circles under his eyes as if he hadn't slept for several nights. You're Adam. He recognized him immediately. Yes, you took my sister. I tried to bring her back. She was contacting me. Martin interrupted, but I made a mistake. A big mistake. I stepped inside. The house was littered with candles, black paper, and some strange symbols. Martin opened a drawer and took out a notebook. Look at this. These are all the messages I received. He opened a page and I saw the same sentence that was sent to me. I'm cold down here. My eyes widened. She's not really alive, Adam, but her soul is not at peace. When I did the ritual, I took the dirt from her grave and read the wrong words. Now, she's here, around you, with you. Martin's voice was trembling. At that moment, all the lights in the house went out. The door closed automatically. The candles went out. Cold in the air and the sound of a breath. A final message came on the phone. I'm here, Adam. I'm not leaving ever. Martin's eyes widened in fear. She's here. With you forever. Without saying anything, I ran out of the house, got in the car, and drove straight to my city. Only one sentence was echoing in my mind. She's dead, but she never left. I had escaped from Martin Burke's house that night, but I couldn't escape her. Lena's spirit wasn't just texting anymore. She had entered my life. When I got home, I locked the doors and turned on the lights. But there was a strange uneasiness in my heart. I didn't feel alone. It was as if someone was breathing behind me. The last message on the phone was, I'm not leaving, Adam. You're my home now. I tried to block that number, but even though it was blocked, another message came the next morning. You can block numbers, but not your own blood. Now I was really starting to break down. I thought, am I going crazy? Is this all my imagination? Or is there really something that has surrounded me in the form of my sister? The next day, strange things started. The TV would automatically turn on, and the same song would play on it that we used to sing as children. Up the hill and down the sky, brother never says goodbye. The mirror in my room had been written with my finger. I'm still waiting for that blanket. When I cleaned it, a coldness like ice spread in my hand. The picture in the room in which Lena and I were together, her eyes had been scratched out. At first I thought maybe a cat or a mouse, but then I saw a small piece of paper inside the frame. You lied. You left me alone. I was no longer afraid. I was broken. I called Martin again, but his phone was off. I wanted to go to his address again, but the police report said that Martin Burke's body was found in his house. A heart attack. At the time of his death, there were signs of intense fear on his face. On the wall in the room, a sentence was written in blood. She never left. Now I understood that this was not just Lena's spirit, it had become something else. Once I was sitting on my bed and the phone was in my hand. Suddenly, the mobile screen went black and my face appeared on it with a shadow standing behind me. I immediately turned around. There was nothing there, but then the room light automatically turned off. I started shivering and a video started playing on the phone that I had never recorded. In the video, I was sleeping and a little girl was sitting on the edge of my bed staring at me. She was Lena. She was dead, but she was looking at me as if to say, "You let me die." I called my parents. And they were shocked too. "Adam, we wanted to tell you something, but we were scared." We had also received messages from an unknown number called Lena last month. I asked, "What did it say?" "Just one thing over and over again. Where is my blanket?" It was clear now that it wasn't just happening to me. It was the cry of Lena's soul, or perhaps more than that. It had become something that haunts everyone who forgot her. I took out the blanket that was Lena's favorite from my old belongings and went straight to the cemetery. The dark, cold night and that old blanket in my hand. I arrived at Lena's grave and felt something had changed. There was a cold breath floating in the air. I placed the blanket on the grave and said softly, "I'm sorry. I let you die, but I won't leave you alone anymore." A few moments passed, and then a final message came to my phone. "Thank you, brother. I can rest now." And after that, no messages came, no shadows, no writing on the mirrors, no TV sounds. But the story didn't end there. 5 days later, my cousin Eli, who had packed Lena's last things 6 years ago, also got a message. "Where is my diary?" For 5 days, everything was silent. No message, not a shadow, no Lena in my dreams, not those terrible sentences on the mobile screen. I thought maybe everything was over, maybe Lena's soul had found peace. But then Eli, my cousin, called me. "Adam, I also got a message from this number." "Which number?" But I knew, deep down. I already knew the answer. "The same number, the one you told me." Eli's voice trembled. The message said, "Where is my diary?" My mind went blank. Eli was the same person who had packed Lena's things 6 years ago, and he had also taken her diary. That night I went to Eli's house. He brought me the diary. Old, blue-covered childhood writings, doodles, and a few secrets that only a sister can hide in her heart. On page 17, something special was written. "If anything ever happens to me, my brother will keep my secret from the world. I tell her everything, even the dreams that come true. My heart aches." Did Lena already realize her death? Did she know something was going to happen? Eli admitted. "I was scared when I read the diary. I never gave it to you, and maybe that was the reason for her anxiety." I immediately wrapped the diary in a white cloth and we both headed straight for the cemetery. It was 1:44 a.m. The wind in the cemetery had stopped. The trees were still and a deep silence spread everywhere, as if waiting for something. We reached Lena's grave. I placed the diary on her grave and said slowly, "This was the only thing that was left, Lena. Now you can go in peace. All your secrets, only I have them." A few moments later, a cool breeze blew. A faint scent came into the air, the same one Lena used. That number flashed on my phone for the last time. A final message. "Thank you, Adam. I remember everything now. I forgive you. Goodbye." And then that number disappeared forever. No contact on the phone, no record, no backup, like it never was. We got back in the car, but as soon as the engine started, the phone screen turned on again, but this time it wasn't to receive a message. She's not the only one here. I looked at Ellie. Her face had turned white. "What did this mean?" I asked, gasping. Another line appeared on the phone screen. "There are more." She woke them up. The next moment, a small fingerprint appeared on our car window. There was no one outside. Had something else awakened with Lena's spirit? Wasn't she the only one who was deprived of peace? A few weeks later, I left town. I turned off everything that reminded me of Lena, but somewhere I know it's not over. Sometimes at night, a faint light flashes on the phone screen. No number appears, no message comes. But it feels like someone is just watching. A softness, a silence, and sometimes the same old scent. She may be gone, but she left something behind. Channel subscription call to action. Do you think this story is over? Do spirits only contact once, or is this just the beginning? At Cursed Narratives, we tell you true scary stories that will take your sleep away and make you doubt reality. Subscribe now, press the bell icon. And remember, if you ever get a message from a dead person, come on, don't answer.